The sun rose gently over the village, casting its warm golden rays on the rooftops and pathways. It was a perfect day. One that would be remembered for years to come. The day was filled with joy, laughter, and celebration in Bidemi's family compound, with the sound of drums, chatter, and hurried footsteps filled the air. The excitement was infectious, and everyone had a task. Women bustled about, arranging chairs and ensuring the food was just right, while children picked curiously at the decorations, and their laughter blending with the cheerful songs playing in the background. Inside the biggest room in the house, Bidemi sat in front of a mirror, her face glowing with happiness, and her traditional wedding attire was a beautiful yellow lace, sparkling as it hugged her figure perfectly. Her heart racing with excitement and nervousness, as Titi, her best friend, adjusted the beads. "You're the most beautiful bride I've ever seen," Titi said, her voice thick with emotions. Bidemi smiled, her dimples showing. "I can't believe this is finally happening," she whispered. Just then, her mother entered the room, wiping tears from her eyes. "Oh, Bidemi, you are the pride of this family," she said. "Today, the world will see what a treasure you are and how lucky Eo is to have you as his wife." Outside, Eo waited patiently, dressed in a rich abode made of beautiful brown fabric that fit perfectly with his skin tone. He was surrounded by his groomsmen, who joked and laughed, trying to ease his obvious excitement. Eo was everything a man should be: wealthy, kind, and deeply in love with one woman. He is every woman's dream. But today, his eyes were only for Bidemi. When she finally stepped out of the house, the crowd cheered loudly. Her beauty was breathtaking, and as she walked towards Eo, her steps were graceful, her smile radiant. Eo couldn't take his eyes off her. When she finally stood beside him, his voice was low enough for only her to hear. "You're my everything," he whispered. The wedding was one of the most celebrated and talked about events in the village. The whole community gathered to witness the union of Bidemi and her wealthy groom Eo. The venue was designed with colorful fabrics and fragrant flowers that danced in the wind. Bidemi, wearing her sparkling traditional wedding attire, walked down the aisle with a smile. Her beauty was unmatched, and everyone whispered about the couple. Women gossiped about how lucky Bidemi is to marry Eo, and even the men admired Eo for finding such a treasure. Her mother, Mama Tinu, was busy welcoming guests, her face glowing with pride. Mama Tinu had waited years for this moment, often boasting about her daughter's beauty, intelligence, and good fortune. "I told everyone," she said to some of her village women. "Bidemi will marry well. God has truly blessed me." Her friends nodded in agreement, some out of genuine happiness, others masking their envy. The celebration lasted all day, filled with laughter, music, and feasting. And the reception was even more vibrant. And the tables were loaded with food: jollof rice, pounded yam, egusi soup, grilled fish, and more. Drinks flowed freely, and the music from the live band made it impossible for anyone to sit down. Bidemi and Eo danced with their guests, and their faces glowing with happiness. Everywhere they turned, people offered congratulations, blessings, and prayers for a happy marriage. Mama Tinu, Bidemi's mother, was the happiest and proudest person in the event. She wore an expensive royal blue outfit, moving from table to table and boasting about her daughter. "My Bidemi is not just beautiful, she is hardworking, kind, and brings blessings to anyone who marries her. She will bring Eo nothing but blessings." Mama Tinu said loudly, her voice full of pride. Everyone smiled and praised her for raising such a wonderful daughter. But unknown to Mama Tinu and Bidemi, among the crowd sat a woman with a heart full of envy. Mama Shola, a longtime friend of Mama Tinu. She smiled and laughed like the rest, but deep inside, jealousy burned in her heart. For years, she had envied Mama Tinu and her daughter's achievements. Every time they met, Mama Tinu would brag endlessly about Bidemi and find a way to belittle Mama Shola's daughters, calling them lazy, uncultured, and unfortunate. As Mama Tinu moved around, enjoying the praises, Mama Shola sat in a corner, watching her with an evil smile. "We shall see," she muttered under her breath. When the wedding was over, Bidemi and Eo returned home with countless gifts. Their house was filled with boxes of expensive items, which they stored away for later. After a few weeks of resting and getting back to their normal life as a couple, Bidemi decided to open the gift one afternoon. "Let's open our gift," she said, her voice soft but excited. Eo, who was sitting in the living room reading a newspaper, looked up and laughed. "Just a few. With all these gifts, it will take us a whole week to finish." They both laughed as they opened the first box. It was a microwave. The next package revealed a set of golden plates. There was also a washing machine, a television, and even an air fryer. Each gift seemed more extravagant than the last, and with every box they opened, their excitement grew. Overwhelmed with joy, Bidemi decided to unwrap more gifts one by one to pass time. The gifts included expensive items, kitchen appliances, fancy decorations, and much more. "Eo, look at this air conditioner," she shouted, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Eo smiled warmly and walked over to her. "People really went all out for us," he said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. After hours of opening gifts, Bidemi picked up a box wrapped in plain brown paper. It felt heavy. "What could this be?" she murmured, unwrapping it carefully. Inside was a beautiful mortar, carved from dark wood with detailed patterns marked into its surface. It looked unique and old-fashioned, standing out from all the modern, expensive gifts. Bidemi burst into laughter. "Who gives a mortar as a gift in this present day and age?" she joked, holding it up for Eo to see. He laughed as well. "Maybe it's from an old-fashioned relative," he said with a smile. Even though Bidemi found it strange, she couldn't help but admire the mortar's beautiful design. After a while, she became tired and decided to move the rest of the gifts to the storage room. She took the mortar and placed it in the storage room as well. "It's beautiful," she said softly, "but I don't think we'll ever use it." With that, the mortar was forgotten, left in the corner of their new home, gathering dust. The first year of Bidemi and Eo's marriage was pure bliss. Eo's business flourished, bringing him more wealth and connections. Bidemi quickly settled into her role as a wife, preparing delicious meals for her husband and managing their home with care. 6 months into the marriage, Bidemi became pregnant, and their joy was beyond measure. "You are my lucky charm," Eo would often say, kissing her forehead as they celebrated the good news. Their marriage became the envy of the villagers. Everyone admired their love, unity, and the way they supported each other in everything. Some villagers often commented on how lucky Eo was to have married Bidemi. "She has brought you nothing but blessings," they would say, and Eo, filled with pride, would nod in agreement. But behind the smiling faces and warm congratulations, jealousy grew in the hearts of some villagers. Mama Shola, in particular, grew angrier with each passing day as she watched Mama Tinu bask in Bidemi's success. "She thinks she's better than everyone else," Mama Shola muttered bitterly. One evening, as she sat in her house, her anger boiling over, Mama Shola grabbed her daughter's hand and said, "Let her enjoy it while it lasts." Unaware of the growing storm, Bidemi continued to live in peace. She and Eo often talked excitedly about the future, imagining their child running around their home. "Our baby will be as beautiful as you," Eo said one night, gently placing a hand on her growing belly. Bidemi smiled warmly, her heart full of contentment and happiness. Little did she know that her perfect life was about to take a dark and irreversible turn.